All right, hello everyone. I hope you're ready. This is Dregn Durant of the Yasuhiro88ch, and tonight, after a quick little 1 week break last weekend, we are continuing tonight with episode 6 of Horizon Exploration. Once again, the channel's science fiction 5e tabletop RPG homebrew. All right, we're jumping in with 5 good friends. We'll do introductions in a little bit, but it seems like they are having a little chit chat. But let me go ahead and get myself unmuted. And let's go ahead and grab the audio for everyone else. Party members, are you there?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
I need to
hey.
get my note-taking software out.
Yeah. Get your notes out. Get your game open. I only see.
Yeah, actually
shit,
signed
I should
into the
open
game.
I should do that.
Yeah. It's been a week. We're a little rusty here as we shake off the cobwebs, but once you're all in, I'll go ahead and get you guys swapped over here on the broadcast, and we'll go through some introductions in case you guys have forgotten who our party members are.
Yeah, who am I again, by the way? No,
Good question. It may not be surprising. Perhaps you have amnesia and you never realized.
it's just all in character. It's
All right. Let's go ahead and get ourselves swapped over to the game view. Here we have it. And for introductions, why don't we start off based on the kind of stream setup here? And guys, introduce yourselves. So starting at the top here, we got Peter playing.
It's Peter playing Sam Stonewell. I'm a technician, grouped up with these band of, some of them merry, some of them not so much. One of them is a very angry guy. But
I was gonna say idiots. I thought you were going to say idiots.
I won't call it to your face, but behind your back, watch out. I definitely am the fixer of the team. But we'll see how many things I actually do fix, because I don't think I've actually fixed anything yet.
No, you went to go fix a Jeep, and instead you're hitting the guy with a hammer.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
What are you guys talking about? That Jeep is all fixed up now.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Next up, we have Sean playing.
How's it going? I'm playing Maxine Beck, ASEC Scout, and a bit of a marksman. Kind of, I don't know, I've been kind of at the front of the group for a little bit until we found people, so that's cool.
That's true. That's true.
And on top of that, I'm a bit of a professional DM. You can find me on Twitter at Azabiel_GM.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And
So I do that now.
are you still doing on Just Playing, or have you moved on to other places?
Yeah, still on Start Playing. Startplaying.com/ or start. Man, I'm bad at this. Startplaying.games/GM/Azabiel.
Very nice. And actually, speaking of Maxine, I do have to make a bit of a correction from our episode 5. So Maxine, in a couple situations, had mentioned the name ASEC, and my 5 smooth brain decided to constantly call it AbsCorp, which both are separate entities. So moving forward, we'll make sure to try to get those names corrected. If I do misspeak, though, players, don't feel bad about correcting me, because make sure our audience knows what's going on. So, cool.
ASEC's the groups that Maxine's from.
ASEC is the group that Maxine had brought up. So if you were in her presence while she was speaking to some of the guards, right, that name had come up. And yeah,
Everyone was there.
I believe
AbsCorp is
they're
the
large
corporation with the ship.
company.
yes, and AbsCorp is the organization which is a bit more medical focused, humanitarian, right, and are the ones that provided the evacuation efforts. ASEC hasn't really been revealed yet, so keep that in mind. All right, so that was my mistake. It happened a couple times, so just heads up for anyone who wants to go back and double check. But next up, we have Calvin playing
Caden, I don't even know what to call myself.
Caden.
The group. I don't.
Your name is Caden.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a Caden is what I am. It's a noun now. It's a Caden. The mysterious one of the group, sure, that fits me pretty well.
Yeah, the average man bumbling through space, thinking that everything's out to get him.
Everything is out to get him, okay?
It kind of is. It might be. You might not be wrong. Party just doesn't know. All right, then we have Corey playing.
Playing Koji Akiyama, the wild son of the Akiyamas. I've got nothing to advertise, but Koji's a very, very angry lad.
Nice. And last but not least, our favorite, Sergio playing.
Dario Cortez, and good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I am your ranger of the group, and I apparently have the ability to touch the ground and know the secrets of the world, unbeknownst to me. But yeah, looking forward to playing some more with you guys.
What is
Did
this?
you just say?
GMs can pick favorites.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the parent. You're supposed to have the favorite.
What are you guys talking about? How can you not love
mean-
someone who touches the ground and tells the future? Come on now.
No offense to anyone else, Dario is obviously my favorite.
Mage Breach, man.
You're gonna give me DM issues.
You guys are all the best. Come on. All right.
I'm gonna have daddy DM issues.
Daddy DM. I mean, in your... You guys are laughing, but in the little kind of questionnaire that I sent you all before we started this campaign,
Yeah.
it was like, what do you want me to call you? And what was it? You had a few of them, but I
was
think
like,
Daddy
oh,
was in
I
one of them.
listed a bunch of names. I was like, Daddy, I don't care.
All right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. It didn't pan out, but it's okay. I know I'm the daddy in your mind. All right. So, a little bit of a recap. You okay? Calm down, buddy. Let's do a little quick recap from last session. So, for those that were not here, and for those that were, a couple weeks ago, the party had begun to depart the original kind of landscape or the crash site where they found themselves, where the terrain was a bit shifted, and they, after a little travel, had come across a couple of crashed ships. And though they explored them very briefly, they decided to step away once they realized that something was approaching in the distance, and this turned out to be some kind of a small reconnaissance convoy of sorts. And fortunately, no one had spotted the group, as they had kind of made a bit of a undercover retreat. But deciding rather than to go south, where these individuals were where they were at risk of being spotted by these individuals, they instead decided to navigate northward, to which then they discovered in the distance a small encampment of sorts, almost set up like a small village, but very, very kind of pieced together. And cautiously, 3 of the 5 members decided to approach. Maxine and Koji, for reasons of their own, decided to stay back in case that their colors or appearance or name raised any alarms. The other 3 did, however, make contact, and Caden was brought in to kind of discuss and negotiate with, at least for now, who the acting one in command was at the encampment. And after a quick little chat and exchange of what did you exchange? It was the mandibles of one of the insectoid creatures. Yeah. The man was very interested by it and decided to allow you guys passage through their little town and perform any trade that was necessary. And the individual who, Caden, you had spoke to was Cedar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having returned to the other 2 who were waiting at the gate with 3 individuals, a man named Luca, another named Johnny, and a female named Tina. Luca seemed to be the more senior of the bunch, and I believe was the one that accompanied you, Caden. And once you had all regrouped outside, you decided to call the others. So Maxine and Koji rejoined the group. However, this was when a little bit of emotions started to spark about, as the appearance of Maxine in the colors of ASEC triggered a bit of hostility from the guards, as they took a much more cautious and aggressive posture towards her. Thankfully, with a little bit of convincing by Koji, making the guards kind of reflect on what their actions were in fact doing, sending a person who may be in need away, they decided to allow the group entry. And from there, the group had split into, I believe it was two groups, right? I believe
two or three.
Yeah, because Caden and Sam, you guys decided to continue northward towards where the vehicles were kept, which this little ragtag, little brilliant piece of art on the screen here, the little square icon at the top, is where the vehicles had sat. And this open circular area is where it was a kind of a large clearing that had a kind of circular pattern, as if something was either moved or kept there, currently empty. And Sam, you had gone to help an individual kind of take a look at their mechanics. Technicians are well known for their tinkering abilities, so they thought, Sam might be able to help, and took him along. Caden went with him, and the other three, Maxine, Koji, and Dario, if I'm not mistaken, the three of you continued into the town with Luca in search for anything to potentially trade. And you all came across a elderly lady named Agatha, which had kind of glossed over eyes, seemed to have a bit of a difficult time hearing, but all in all, you guys had managed to exchange a petrified forearm that you had found covered in some odd flowers that Caden, I believe, took with him during his little hallucination trip or whatever was happening. And Agatha was very intrigued by said item, going as far as to take a kooky sniff at the object, as well as, if I recall, she even licked it. So Agatha, you guys had managed to exchange for the arm, was it one or two water skins? Two water skins of healing paste, which acts very similarly to a traditional medicine kit. And as we reached the end of our session last time, Sam, you were out kind of off testing the vehicle, and you had parked a little bit away by a tree, hopefully kind of a little bit out of view of the guards. And you were, I don't want to say you were bullshitting, but you were pretty heavily bullshitting what was happening with the vehicle, which happened to kind of go right in tow with the chief mechanic kind of believing what you were saying. Maybe it was true. There seemed to have been some corrosion in the back, and as he took a closer look, a big rumbling was heard in the air as the mechanic came back out to take a look at you and found a hammer hovering high above your head. But you talked your way out of it, and as the two of you made your way back, the entire group in one way or another had found that the airship that you had all seen previously, which let me go ahead and pop this out here real quick. That's right, different screens. Got to get used to that. I don't know if I ever will. But the campsite, right, that the party had discovered, just for vibes, looked something a little like that. And the airship that was returning looked a little like, I believe this is the one. Here it is. Little like that. A massive airship kind of hovering slowly across the sky, which the party did in fact find and see as they were making their way northward through the cavernous valleyways of the strange terrain. They did see this flying overhead, heading southward initially, and now they see it returning. And both Luca, those that were with Luca, as well as Sam, the mechanic that you were with, had made mention that this must be Banuk and the others on their return. And that is where we had left off. So, with that, we will continue where Sam, you make your fairly quiet ride back. The chief mechanic seems to be much less interested in making small talk with you at the moment, and has also taken the driver's seat this time rather than letting you drive, as you both return back to the camp. Caden, you will find that the vehicle that Sam was looking at returns. The chief mechanic kind of steps out and kind of decides to walk away, continuing along with his work, barking some commands at the others now that this large kind of airship is approaching overhead. Still a little bit of a distance away, but on the approach, it seems. The other mechanics, the others that are working kind of in the northern part of this camp, start to hustle about and begin kind of barking orders, getting things ready. There seems to be several individuals that are posturing themselves over by that large circular area that was off to your east. So there's a few individuals posturing out over here. And Johnny, if I recall, had witnessed your brilliant stacking skills with that natural 20 we see still in the chat.
Yep.
Made mention that you should teach him sometime, but you are now reconvened with Sam. The others that are with Luca, Luca, I believe, also had mentioned that must be Banuk on the return. And at this point, the two groups have a choice. You can either continue with what you'd like to in separate locations, or we can speed up to when you guys reconvene roughly in the kind of northern area near where the vehicles are currently stationed.
Before we leave the mechanic area, and maybe even before Sam got back, I just wanted to scoop a few items. Like, I don't need anything specific. I just wanted a random assortment of items. Like,
okay.
They don't even have to be important, expensive looking things. I just want a random assortment of things that just look like something, just something.
Sure. Give me a sleight of hand, first of all.
Sure. Not great at these, not bad either. Not great.
Okay. And give me a D8 roll.
D8?
Yep.
Okay, that's 4, 5, 6. Is this an 8? That's a 12. That's a 10.
Oh.
1.
Oof.
All right.
Maybe low's good. It's golf, right?
All right. Give me 1 second to find what I'm looking for here. Here it is. So, Caden, you go to grab you go to depart and take some of the objects that you were stacking. And as you go to as you look away at the object in the sky and go to kind of grab a handful of tools, your little stacked set of tools collapses and makes a bit of a ruckus on the countertop here that gets Johnny's attention. Johnny turns to you. Leave those there. You don't need those where we are going. Quickly, come. We must meet the others.
Okay, fine. I'll just leave them. I'm not going to fight him on it.
All right.
Super important. I just wanted it.
I
Yeah.
like to think that as Sam's getting off, he's looking at Kaden going, "Wait, Kaden, we should go meet with the others as soon as we can. You busy here?"
No, I was gonna help, but you fucked off, so I was just making time, wasting time.
Well, I don't think I achieved much either. Hopefully we got some favors, but hard to say.
Yeah, we can go meet this.
Did the
Forget his name, dude. It's the important dude. We'll go see who the important dude is.
Yeah, they saying Banuk just came by, and then he's the one who came from this airship.
Yeah, that was his name, Banuk.
We should go meet up with the others.
I imagine they're gonna go to the very well, maybe not. I don't know, let's just go see if we find him. It's a big thing. Maybe they go see what it is.
All right. Johnny doesn't actually take you far from where the vehicles can be seen. He kind of just takes you a bit closer to the center, a little bit closer to where the kind of central command area was that you, Caden, had entered closer from the more southern side. I'm actually going to leave this image on the screen for the time being as well. And the rest of you, as Johnny also suggests that, okay, time to go.
Not Johnny. They're with Tina, aren't they? Johnny's with us.
No. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. If I said Johnny, I meant Luca. Yeah. Tina is not with you all. She is still kind of guarding the post.
Yeah, it was Luca. You're right.
Yeah. And Johnny, or gosh, Luca takes you a bit of it in a clockwise kind of rotation around the center, but the rest of you do begin to see the vehicles much closer than you had prior. And as you approach where the vehicles are, off to the right, you will spot Sam and Caden.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we found them then.
How'd your field trip go?
Not too bad. Found got some water skins of some healing salve for us. Should prove to be very helpful in case we get into any trouble. How about you?
I don't know, Sam. How'd it go?
I helped fix a problem they had with their one vehicle, and I hope we can meet. Do you guys remember the man's name who did the old weather machine?
Yeah, I just stacked some stuff in the repair area.
But do you guys want to stay here and meet this this leader of theirs?
I think that's what.
Or do we get out?
What? That's a very good question. Why are we here? Aren't we just leaving? Like, do we need? What was our plan? Do we have a
don't
plan?
need to meet them. We came to restock. I kind of want to meet the scientist who developed this machine who could track the catastrophe.
It doesn't sound like a machine. It sounds like it's just basic math. Like, he was just like, well, if it's here, the other one can't. Like, there's. It didn't sound. Maybe it's a machine. We should ask. Cedar would know.
Oh, that's why I'm curious. I'm curious to know if we can figure out how it works here. Maybe we can figure out how anomalies work elsewhere. I mean, there's a catastrophe in one planet, but can you figure out what happens in space if you're traveling? And then you can tell where anomalies going to pop up that might be a detriment to your travel.
I don't know if it's 1-to-1 there, but we can check it out. So that's our. I guess, is that our goal? Because going in, we should know what we're like. What are we here for?
That's what I want, but I know the leader. We saw him before, and I know he's not the greatest person to meet, right? You said that these folks.
No, if he's members, not really.
As you're all kind of huddled around, waiting, as many of the others are, a lot of the guards and soldiers within this group, or at least those that seem to have a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Some background that would overlap there. Many of them seem to be gathering kind of in the northern half of this camp. And through the chatter, the thrumming sound gets a bit louder as the airship now is approaching from the southeast and seems to be posturing for a location above the camp, very close to where you all are. After a little bit of time, the craft will eventually hover in the air where that circular location was and begin to touch down. And it becomes very clear that the shape that was created was due to the engines as it made touchdown. And once the doors open, people begin to rush in and out, and you see kind of the transfer of metals and other miscellaneous goods. Those of you,
metal by chance?
yep, those of you who have, let's see here, that's right, different screen again. Let's see. For those of you who have a perception that is less than 10, you may roll, but if you have a perception over 10, which I believe everyone actually has a +1 or higher, so yes, all of you will notice that some of the materials that they are hauling out, and some of them are being hauled out with some of those kind of motorcycle. One of them seems to be a bit more suited for like hauling. They seem to have brought over the metals from the crash ship that you guys had found. One of them appears to be a bit more blue in nature, and you don't currently spot anything that is the color of the AbsCorp shuttle coming from within.
Another thing, I mentioned this last game, but as we walked from the mechanic area over to here, did I notice any more like burn scarring on people? I'm mainly looking for the absence of it, or how many people have it, just kind of gauge how many people in camp are a member of Embers.
Yeah, you did do that, and I think I mentioned there was like 3 individuals that you managed to spot. A lot of those that are kind of around the outskirts or that are working seem to be fairly covered up. Many of them wearing some kind of eye covering. Some of them are wearing kind of scarves and like not really bandanas, but wraps around them just to keep the weathers away, the elements away. But you did spot an individual who, if I recall, had a gash on his neck with kind of a burn mark of sorts. There was, I believe, another one that had a large burn on their arm, and no, maybe it was only 2. Those are the ones I remember. But you do spot a few of them, however.
My main thing was just looking to see how many there were, and whether my main thing was determining whether the entire camp was involved in the Ambers organization, or just a few members that may have survived the hell that is currently Aurora Green.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, you're getting the vibe, and let's see here. I really want to make you roll something, but I don't think anything
Insight
quite fits. No, because you're not really inciting another person at the moment. I'm
getting the vibe of the camp. I don't know.
Yeah. I think all I'm going to say is that Caden will notice that there's several people here who have some kind of scarring, right? Mm-hmm. Whether they be burns or otherwise, you're not entirely sure without closer investigation. But between the leader and some of these armed individuals, you do spot these burn marks that are not new to you. So until some more information presents itself, you're welcome to.
Okay, that's all I was looking for. Okay, thank you.
Yep. But as the shuttle is being offloaded, Johnny and Luca still just stand there waiting.
We waiting for something in particular here, boys.
Yes, we are waiting for Banuk to return. It seems that...
I thought he was on the ship.
Well, he might have been, but if he was, he'd be out already. So it's possible that maybe there was something that they had found. Maybe he's taking the ground vehicles back. Could be a little while longer.
Oh, so we're just gonna stand here then?
Well, you're welcome to maybe help them out, or is there something you'd like to do in the meantime while we wait for Banuk?
I don't know. What's the most touristy thing you have around here? What is there to do?
The touristy thing around here.
We don't really do.
I don't know. What do you guys need? I have nothing better to do.
How is
This
Banuk?
this might be not sure it's my place to ask, but the scientist is he around? Could my friend here, the technician friend of mine, wanted to speak with him about something.
He's talking about
we have
Cedar.
time.
As you're asking the question, from behind you, yeah, you are you talking about me? As a man comes out of a door that is attached to that kind of central structure, where Caden, you had found some electronics within, bit of a kind of a vehicle-made network, small one, but a man walks out, and he doesn't look like he still has the expression of a tired man, but he seems much more. He seems a bit taller, Caden, than when you had seen him kind of within the quote-unquote command center. But he comes out, kind of fixes his glasses, seems to be adjusting the collar on one of his sleeves, but...
Hey, Cedar.
Sorry, what was your name again?
Caden?
Caden, right. Right, the mandible. Did
Yeah,
you guys...
You still owe me for that, by the way, because I did give you information and that mandible, so...
And it seems that you've made your way into the town. So, did you happen to get anything out of it?
Not yet.
Well, we're probably going to be departing here now that Banuk is on his return. I got word that he is coming back with the jeeps and should be here soon. But they found more material than what was expected. Apparently there was a second shuttle.
Okay. So is he going to be here soon, or are we just going to stand here?
Well, that's entirely up to you as far as I care. But I'm here to wait for Banuk.
Hey Sam,
You're
what did
going to wait here. I think we had some questions.
Yeah.
Not me, but the others.
So you're the one that tells people how to go safely, and avoid a catastrophe.
No, not quite. I am one of the ones involved, but between myself, yes, between myself, Banuk, and the team that he puts together, we have come up with a bit of a system to predict where the catastrophes will fall. So far,
You showed me.
that would be a little difficult. It's more time-consuming than you might realize.
But you guys are about to leave. Don't you think you should figure out where you should go next? Maybe you could live demonstrate it for me.
Perhaps if you stick around long enough, but the catastrophes, they drop unexplained. They appear... Well, one thing that we're fairly sure of is that the catastrophes will appear when one nearby fizzles and ceases to exist, but...
How near? Are you talking about 50 miles? Are you talking about 10 feet? What does that mean, how near?
That depends. It depends. It typically doesn't fall in the same place twice, at least not for a long time, but it also appears more abruptly than you'd think. So typically we have to be ready to go in like a 6 to 8 hour notice. Listen, I've been plotting the best courses that we can take here for days now. if you want to see, you're welcome to stick around, but I really don't want to talk about it right now. It's all I do when I'm in there, as he gestures to his back.
Well, can you just share? Is it just calculations, or do you have a machine? Is it an algorithm? How do you give me something that comes out of it? I'm just interested.
All right. I'm going to need you to give me a persuasion roll.
Is there any way I could assist with this, leaning on the fact that I kind of know Luca already, and I don't know, just
Wait, roll 4.
Well, if you want to assist, you better speak up, because otherwise...
Other people have got a silver tongue. Sam Stone, on the other hand, does not.
Yeah, at the moment, I don't...
Luca, you could, you guys are all about saving lives, and sharing this might save many more lives if Sam can teach other people how it's done.
Before Luca has a chance to speak, Cedar speaks up. Where did you...
Shit, I meant to say Cedar.
Okay, well, that's fine. Doesn't change anything. So Cedar looks at you and raises an eyebrow. It's saving lives. Where did you get that idea?
Star Camp looks like it's an attempt to preserve life, at least to some extent. Moving the camp, protecting people from the chaos.
Yeah, for those of us trying to survive, we don't have the luxury to go out there and try to save people just because. I mean,
no, but that's something that if more people knew how to predict these storms, could be done potentially. You're not the only people who are threatened by these storms.
Yeah, how many people have you bumped into?
Quite a few, actually. I've been here since the start.
Really? And how did you make it out here all alive?
We hid in a cave for the last storm.
Now, because that's what you're telling us we should do. We should all just go find one of these caves that are apparently nearby and huddle in for who knows how long.
No, I'm saying you should, if possible, share the knowledge of how to predict these storms, and through them we might save more lives by getting more people out of the way of incoming storms.
Caden, I need you to roll me a perception. Or not a perception,
Sure.
Persuasion. Sorry.
I want to see how well he's being convinced. Where's my persuasion? There we are. Try it and help out.
Oof.
Nice.
Man of the people.
Fine. You know what? Fine. I am more than happy to then share with you all what we do to survive. But if you think I'm going to tell you under the assumption that your rule for survival is to hide in a cave, that's not happening. So how about you tell me what you guys do to survive, and then we'll tell you what all of us are trying to do to survive.
Generally, you avoid them and you hide somewhere with cover. That's what I've done in the past.
Huh. What do you know? That's exactly what we do too, except we don't look for cover. We try to find an area where the catastrophe doesn't spread to while it is live. That's it.
Out of curiosity,
How do you predict
you
that?
guys-
Sorry.
you guys said before that the Abscorp was taking people off and evacuating them, and I think a lot of people here didn't get on that ship. Do you know if they're still making rounds to get people off this planet?
Last I heard, and he's looking a little irritable. Last I heard, some of the major cities still have some connections, apparently. I don't know how they're communicating, but some
The
cities.
major cities.
Yeah, Edgerton seems to pop up on the comms from people traveling here and there. There's a few others, but Fontaine.
So you here, you're independent then, fully.
We have to be. I mean, I told.
What if we could help try to get you guys a ticket out of here?
Listen.
What if we went over there and met with them
Listen.
and could find room for 200-300 of you?
I don't know if I told your buddy here this, but most of the people here have already tried going to Abscorp. Do you think the people here all just travel out in the middle of nowhere because they want to? No. most of us came from a city or close enough to a city to get to one of those evacuation sites. And for some unknown fucking reason, AbsCorp decided to turn most of us away. And some of us here have families.
Well, if we find what we're here to look for, I think we get a little more sway. I think if you help us, we might be able to help you.
Listen, if you can do that, I think a lot of us here would be grateful. But a lot of us here also are a bit resentful towards AbsCorp and Dynasty in general because they were already turned away once, left to rot or die or who knows what on this forgotten planet.
We may just be your ticket out of here. When your boss comes back, let's have a meeting.
As you guys are talking and continuing to, the airship at this point has begun to idle, and from the far southeast, there is a bit of a kick up of clouds that some of you will spot as a pop goes up into the air, and a flare seems to be indicating something is on its approach. Well, looks like it won't be that much longer now until Banuk gets back here, but you said something that you guys are looking for. What the hell could you guys be looking for out here?
In a whisper, I pull myself closer. It's not the safest to say it out here in front of everyone. Maybe we get a little more private space with you and Banuk.
Fine. We'll talk about it later. He goes to pinch the bridge of his nose, and you all hear several humming sounds coming from ground level. Sounds much like the sound of engines. As from the north side of the camp enters a few Jeep-like vehicles, four-wheel drive, one of which has a mounted machine gun on the back. Again, much like a Warthog from Halo, if you're familiar. They roll in from the north and they fall into their designating parking spaces. And more people hustle out and begin to assist the others that are moving different materials to and from the airship. And after the initial bustle seems to pass, through the crowd, you all see a fairly tall, dark-skinned man dressed fairly well with what appears to be dark patches of, or not dark patches, but dark areas on his outfit that seem to signify some sort of like armor. Kind of like a Kevlar vest of sorts, like a bulletproof vest, and some more material that seems to act as kind of arm guards and areas that kind of patch around the waist as well, covering his sides and his legs, the upper legs. His face, he raises up some goggles, or not raises up, but takes them off. His mouth is covered in a bit of a scarf, and as he takes that off, you all spot then the burn mark that seems to encompass his entire, I don't remember if I designated a cheek, but it will be on the left side of his face, kind of arcing up in a bit of a fireball shape up towards his ear, the main mass being pretty much the entire cheek. But he seems to have a hard expression, slicked back hair, and he approaches Cedar. Cedar, good to see you. Cedar returns his gesture and approaches, while he then gestures behind as they speak. Banuk then will approach you all. I hear you guys are newcomers.
We are.
And what are you doing out here in the middle of nowhere?
Looking for information, anything that could be valuable.
A little vague. I could use
it. That's how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes that is how it is, isn't it? Well, let's have a chat. Cedar here tells me that you guys are looking for some information. Maybe we can trade some. Plus, I could use a drink. It's been a long couple of days. And Banuk just walks past you all into the door that Cedar had come out of. And Cedar goes over to Luca and Johnny. We'll take it here. We'll take it from here, boys. And kind of ushers them off. And before entering to follow Banuk, Cedar looks to the rest of you. Well, if you want your questions answered, now's the time. Do it while he's in a good mood. And he walks in after him.
Finally, a proper drink.
You
That's what I'm
brought
saying.
alcohol. How come you haven't drank it yet?
I poured out the the flask and it's empty.
Oh.
I have to drink it all.
You didn't think to offer
That
any?
makes more sense.
Oh,
I drink all of it.
The fuck, man?
Keep in mind, we're guests, don't be presumptuous. And I'm gonna look to Caden and just say, these might not be the people you think.
And who do you think I suspect them to be?
We talked about this before. You reminded me who you think they are.
My suspicion hasn't changed. Actually, that's a good question. Dragon, do I recognize this particular person? Like, actually, like, recognize their, maybe not this, like, their current state with the scars and stuff, but do I recognize them at all?
so you're asking if you know who Banuk is, or if you
If I've
recognize
seen
Banuk.
him before, possibly in Edgerson.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure with your backstory. All right.
I might not. I'm just asking.
I just want to double check a detail. You were in hiding for how many years? Do you remember? Was it 6?
Something like that, yeah. I haven't been in high school.
No, you wouldn't know.
But I was there when everything went down, which he seems like if he has a burn mark, he might have been there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you don't recognize this face, but also those that you do. No, for now, no, you don't recognize him.
Okay, that's all good. That's all I was checking. It'd be different if I recognized his face, but I don't know who he is, so I'm not making too many assumptions.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they were those people, they would be with the city. And if they're not with the city, why would they be those people? I'm just going to go to follow Cedar in.
I'm going in right after you.
Yeah, I'll follow you.
All right. Let's see here. Everyone following in. Who did I not hear from? Dario and Sam?
Yep.
Yep.
Following.
All right.
Yeah.
You all follow in. And for the first time, you guys will get a couple of quick little glimpses at some computers that seem to be, or at least monitors that seem to be hooked up inside of this van that is a bit positioned towards the core, the center of this formation of a camp, of a village of sorts. Around it, there are other vehicles that seem to be kind of acting as, when you kind of round the caravan, right, to protect it from the outside. They seem to have done something fairly similar here. But Banuk, up ahead, you can see him because he stands a bit taller than the rest, seems to just walk right by all of these vehicles and instead plops down on the ground next to a cooler under a bit of shade that is artificially made with a bit of a tarp that covers overhead. Cedar just walks up close but off to the side and stands there, keeping an eye on you all as Banuk waits for your approach. And while you do, he opens up the cooler and pulls out what appears to be
Bud Light.
not that bad, but there's a
Sponsors.
there's a bottle that looks a lot like a large bottle of Jack, but it has
Nicky.
the name Hardball on the label.
Oh, is it like an 8-ball from Pool? Like
Sure.
The logo.
Why not?
Is this anything I'd recognize?
Yeah, it looks like
Do you have proficiency in alcoholism? Okay, roll.
yeah. I mean, Koji automatically succeeds alcohol rolls. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
knew
exactly,
that, but yes, it is a decent bottle of whiskey.
Oh, fuck yeah. We turn it up here.
But he pours himself a glass and sets it on the cooler and gestures in front where there's no chairs. Well, you wish to speak?
Yeah, we were looking to. We're just trying to figure out what you guys are doing out here. You're much like us, far from kind of anywhere, which is odd.
I think we started with what we're looking to trade. We've given a lot to this town in the last few hours, and
Oh, what have you given? I wasn't here.
Cedar there has one of her mandibles. I go to shake it, but I don't have it in my hand anymore. So
we've helped fix one of your vehicles.
Oh,
yeah, Sam had a look at it. I point to the technician.
so you've given us a part of a creature.
It's a very valuable part. You can ask Cedar about it.
Is
But
it?
that's
Is-
all small stuff. Let me tell you what we're looking for. Well, have you ever come across a cave or a structure you couldn't get into?
If you have a perception higher than +4, put a Y or a 1 or something in the game chat, and if you don't, and you're paying attention, roll me insight. Sorry.
So I'm checking for perception, and if I don't, I'm rolling insight.
Sorry,
So
what the hell am
I'm
I saying?
gonna roll
Okay.
insight.
Yeah.
I'm not one of perception, so
I think I understood properly. My perception is good.
Yeah.
Insight of 12.
Okay. So, the only one who is going to spot a little micro expression is going to be Maxine. His eyes narrow just for the splittest of seconds, and his tone initially is a bit higher than it was prior. No.
we also.
Why
traded
would there
you
be-
information.
Okay, listen. I need one of you guys to speak. I don't know how you guys have gotten this far talking over each other, but do you want to tell me what you provided, or do you want to tell me what you're looking for?
The truth is, it was sent here by a really rich group. We've only been on the planet a couple of days, and we're looking for hidden technology that they said is here.
I can tell you one thing, and that is that we are not looking for any hidden technology. Most of the stories that I've heard where strange doors may exist or where new technologies might be found all seem to be, funny enough, where the catastrophes land. So tell me,
But you could tell where the catastrophes are gonna be.
and we are trying to avoid the catastrophes, but why don't you first tell me, what is it that your employer wants with whatever the heck it is that it seems to be closer to the heart of these catastrophes to the north?
And they want to learn anything that there is to learn on this planet, and if there's anything of value, they're a corporation, so they're going to try to find a way to monetize it. That's just the way that they are.
Of course they are. Of course they are. You think we don't
Of
know
course
that?
they are.
They will monetize our lives for all I care. I'm not going to have that. I've seen what it is for people to think that they can play God.
You said you're not looking for technology, but you are looking for survival. I think part of what we can find may bring some survival to you and your group, bring some comfort, maybe get you out of this planet.
He leans in, his eyes fixated on you. Oh, really? And how so?
Let's just say it's worth quite a lot of credits, and the company would pay to ship all of you out of here if they could get their hands on this technology.
And you have some guarantee, as his eyes look just dumbfounded.
It gives us a certain amount of leverage that we could use if we were to find it.
So you're looking for something, and there's a promise to get us off of this rock. If we find it, if your employer feels that it is worth the price. I'm hearing a lot of maybes here, boys.
There's a promise for reward if we find this. They bring people in by offering riches, and what we do with that reward is ours to decide. I, for one, am of the mind of helping my people.
When you say that, Cedar leans in and whispers something into Banuk's ear, but it's brief and short, and after Cedar leans away, Maxine, once again, your perception is disgusting, so you spot something. He glances at you briefly before turning his eyes back to the group as a whole. But something, he clearly made like direct eye contact with you for just a split longer than is typical of him currently. All I'm hearing at the moment are things that you all need. And I'm hearing, again, not a whole lot of guarantees that what we might get in return would even be a
What's your
guarantee.
other option? Are you getting off this planet any other way?
Okay.
We have been here for many years now, and for the past 6 catastrophes that I've seen, between Cedar and I, we seem to be able to navigate around them.
Without a cost?
Give me an insight roll.
I'm alluding to the fact that they've probably lost people to the catastrophe still.
Oh, well, there you have it. Yeah, that's exactly, Caden, what you see in his expression. Though, again, his expression hardens quickly. Of course we've lost people. Of course there's been a cost. You don't... He seems to be kind of looking out into the distance past you all. You don't simply survive what has gone on Aurora Green without there being a cost.
So why not look for a better option?
And what option would you have us go through?
The option we're offering you. We're giving you a chance. It might only be a chance, but it's more than you got right now.
I don't know if any of you know this, but a lot of the people here have already tried to get on one of the evacuation shuttles. For some reason, AbsCorp doesn't want us off this rock. So what should I think when a group of strangers show up at our doorstep and say that they can change that?
I think.
I think
offering.
He pours a second glass while you guys are talking over each other.
Sam, may I?
Yep, go ahead.
I think offering to offer a way off of the planet was a mistake. I think what should have been offered was to work together. We're looking for something that doesn't want to be found, and that will involve us putting ourselves regularly at risk. We are looking for information, and we are very capable as a small group. And we are outsiders, expendable. We can provide service, and we're looking for information that may help us achieve our goals. And in the end, if this works out for us, then we have the means to do something greater, perhaps. And if it doesn't, then in the meantime, you've had our service.
Give me a persuasion roll of your own.
Shit. It's a 2.
Damn.
Oh, you have a -1 even? Oh,
yeah.
no.
He
Can we just lose someone?
ponders your words as his head tilts back and he downs another shot of the whiskey. And his eyes settle upwards for a prolonged period of time. You can't tell at the moment if he's in thought or considering your offer. But
Look, just think about it. You've got nothing to lose. We'll be out of your hair, hopefully with some more information from you. And out of curiosity, just want to know, has anyone ever gone into the catastrophe and come out alive to talk about it?
he, as you begin talking, for him to consider it, he closes his eyes and begins to lower it. And it looks like he's about to speak up when you ask him if anyone's been in the catastrophe. And then you see his eyes open. And all of you, even Maxine, sees a confused, not a confused, but a confusing expression. It almost looks like a combination of fear and anger. Have I seen someone go into the catastrophe? Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Anyone who walks out of a catastrophe, his head starts to shake side to side, and his eyes drift downwards and almost stare off through the planet itself. They're not the same anymore. Yes, I've seen it.
So there have been people. Anyone in this group of yours? Someone we could talk to?
He pauses. I'm going to have you give me a persuasion as well.
18.
Yeah. I won't say that I'm the best example, but this, as he tilts his head to the right to show you his left side, this was caused by a catastrophe. It felt like my face was splitting apart. It felt like it was both on fire and on ice at the same time. If it wasn't for... Shakes his head again. If I didn't get out of it, who knows what else it would have done to me. But, and he looks directly at you. If you ever see someone who looks like a monster on this planet, you'll know. And I suggest you don't go near them.
Good tip.
What even are they exactly?
Say again?
What even are these, like, catastrophes?
He doesn't respond to you immediately. Instead, kind of tilts his head to the right in the direction of Cedar, and Cedar steps up. Well, from what I've been able to gather, the catastrophes seem to be some kind of a spike in some unknown power source and energies. The catastrophes seem to be just pure energy fluctuations. It's something, well,
They're
it's
change incarnate.
spectacular, and yes, it may very well be change incarnate, but at the same time, it has been one of the strangest and sometimes most destructive things I've ever seen. You all must have seen the way the terrain has been changed to the southwest and to the far north, have you not? And
I mean, we saw some weird shit in the cave. Mutated, like, crab things. They talked to me. It was really weird.
they both
The mandible I gave you.
look at you. What? Banuk looks at you, but doesn't say anything. Instead, he just pours himself another glass. And
How much for a shot, by the way?
how much?
We thought this was complimentary.
No, he's
Yeah,
only
take,
he's
like,
only
credit
pulled
for-
out one glass.
He's the only one been drinking it, right?
You take, like, credits, or...
He stands up and, if you want a glass, how about we shake on it?
On what?
Like, make a deal?
He puts out a hand. And Koji, if you're paying attention, give me a perception roll. If not, make a choice.
He's not. He stands up and takes his hand.
He's got an April Fool's zapper on his
Alright.
hand. Don't do it.
I need you to make a strength check.
$14.
Nice. As soon as you shake his hand, or as soon as your hand clasps his, he grips hard. So where
Do
did you say that you're from again? As he continues to squeeze.
From Akiyama, 16th district. Name's Koji Akiyama.
Akiyama. As you squeeze back, I presume?
100%.
100%. Okay. Akiyama, the popular name in this sector.
Every right to be.
And he's not breaking his eye contact with you. So you want something to drink, do you?
Yeah.
And you're willing to pay for it.
Yeah. You guys take like credits, or are we just gonna keep doing this?
He begins to loosen the grip. And do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was doing one of those Chad moves where you just try to grip someone's hand real tight, and you came out on top. It actually almost probably didn't phase Koji, but Banu takes a couple steps back and opens up the cooler and pours another shot glass and passes it over to you. You got good eyes, kid.
Yeah. Thank you, I think. And he takes the shot.
Maxine, you can see Banu kind of mending his hand with his other. But there was a question somewhere in there, wasn't there? If not,
I would just say, take the day, think about our offer. We'll go rest in your camp tonight. We'll meet up again tomorrow, and I hope you accept that offer. If not, we'll be out of your hair.
you guys still haven't really told us. What would you have us do?
Simply the information that we asked for.
You've been here for a while, you and your group. Surely you've come across places that are locked? Technological advances that you don't understand. And personally, I'm curious to know more about how you discover where the next catastrophe is going to be. But that's more of a personal matter.
Well, if you were paying attention outside, the catastrophe to the north should be ending soon. By what I've observed and by past records, I would give it about another day or day and a half before it's completely calmed down. Now, once that happens, we generally have anywhere from 6 to 12 hours before we start to see signs of another catastrophe. He looks over to Banuk, and Banuk's on the ground just taking another shot, but just waves his arm. Just, these guys are they're gonna be here until they get their answer. Just give it to them. Cedar nods and looks at the rest of you. So when we begin to feel the energy around us begin to rise, that is when we send out scouts and we determine which side, which direction we feel less energy within the air. So far, 6 out of 6 times of doing this, the catastrophe lands roughly in the area that we predicted based on what our scouts inform us.
Talk about like your hair standing on end, static electricity kind of thing?
Yes, so you already seem to know a little bit about this.
We passed through a storm passed overhead of us, so we were in a cave. We've seen it, felt it.
Now, Caden, you need to roll me a persuasion because Caden, your backstory would include a situation like that. I know that
it would.
I know that your current one is probably not thinking about it, but and oops, that's the wrong interface again. I get rid of this roll. There it goes. Cool. Yeah, he doesn't seem to have shifted his gaze or anything at all, but so, well, with that said, like we were talking about outside, we seem to have about, by our estimation, maybe somewhere around 48 hours before we need to really start making another move. So
You can tell the rough perimeter of the catastrophe. What about the center? Has anyone ever driven deep into the center as the catastrophe occurs?
as you ask again about the center, Banuk smacks his hand on the cooler. Listen here, I get you're a technician and you're curious, but enough talk about these catastrophes. We are simply trying to avoid them, not to go into the middle of them. Listen, you do not want to go within these catastrophes. They will change you. They will affect you. They will create something that shouldn't exist. And this time, rather than anger and fear, it just looks within his eyes, fear.
Oh. I think we've taken enough of your time then. Unless someone had something pressing, just give a thought over what we could do to help your settlement. I trained scout myself, bit of a marksman. Koji is our muscle.
He's got the balls of an owlbear.
I'm real good at punching stuff too.
We've got a variety of skills is what I'm trying to say, so give it some thought. We'll get out of your hair.
He waves a hand. Yeah. If you need something, talk to Cedar. Then with that, Banuk continues to just kind of keep his glass company, and Cedar gestures to usher the rest of you to leave him be. Out back towards the northern part, back through where you came in. Well, that went fairly well. It seems as though Banuk was, there must have been a good haul. Normally he's a bit more agitated.
There's a lot on his plate.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. So,
Cedar, you give it some thought too. If there's anything you need personally, we've asked a lot. We're here to help.
yes, and I think we've already given quite a bit. We don't have much, so that information is, as much as it has kept us alive, is one of the few things that we have to keep us alive, if you understand that. But there is something. You mentioned that you are quite the good shot. There's a few of our own that could maybe use a few pointers when it comes to firearm control. Perhaps you can give a handful of them a look over.
Yeah, good training goes a long way.
Yeah, it will. And the rest
Shall I
of
go
you,
to Luca and have him lead me then?
Luca would be a fine choice.
All right.
And
I'm
as
gonna just immediately go to find Luca.
okay,
Like I want to make it clear that I don't want to push any more than we already have to Cedar. So
sure. Yeah, you walk off. Party.
Is there somewhere we could rest for the night?
Well, most of the encampments here were either made or brought by those either in vehicles, or if not, well, I suggest maybe making some friends and seeing if they have some spare room, and if not, find a less occupied part of the camp to set your stuff. As long as you're within the camp walls, no one here should create a ruckus. Just do me a favor and keep an eye on that one as he gestures towards Maxine's back. Luke, go ahead, let me know what's under that shawl that she's wearing, and, well, Anubis colors don't fly well on Aurora Green.
Are people still like unloading stuff from the trucks and the airship?
Yeah, you're close by. They do seem a bit short-staffed, as some people seem to be working on kind of the exterior of the ship. Some people seem to be moving things about, but they're, pretty large. Some of them are a bit heavy, so not a whole lot of people here seem to be overly kind of fit. The ones that do seem to be more on like patrol duty on the outskirts. So yes, they are still working on that.
All right, almost on autopilot. Koji's gonna see what's going on and kind of take off, start helping people out, just unloading shit.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to find. I assume there's an area where there's people either. I was thinking clothing, but anything repairing, cleaning, anything like that. But I assume clothing would be the most obvious one.
Yeah. When you guys had first walked in, you had seen some females and children that were running about, and there were some folks that were repairing clothes. Some of them were cleaning, and this is around the southwestern part of town.
I'm gonna go find them and help them out.
Okay.
I'm gonna go look for a place where we could camp out for tonight, whether by bribing someone out of their tent or actually finding a spot where we could group together for the night.
Sure.
Dario goes with Koji to go help out some of the villagers.
Okay. All right. So, we'll start off with... Well, I guess we'll start off with Sam at the top of the list here. So, Sam, you walk about the town, or the little village here that's set up, and it does, upon closer inspection, having some technician background, though not quite your specialty, you do notice that the structures here are absolutely built to be temporary. There's very little indication outside of full vehicles that seem to be built for retaining the shape that they are in. There's a lot of tents, there's a lot of sheet metal, there's a lot of like artificial shelter, and there seems to be a bit of an abundance of kind of empty spaces, especially on the southeastern part of the town. Seems to be a bit more empty and also a little bit less guarded for whatever reason. It also seems to be the area where there's the least number of access points in and out of kind of the formation that they've set up here, which might have something to do with it. But yeah, you will be able to find an adequate space there. But the question is, are you looking for additional shelter of any sort?
Nope, just adequate space, roof over our head. That's all we need.
All right. Yep. So from there, maybe you'll be able to figure something out, but seems decent enough for kind of the camping conditions that you guys have had recently. All right. And then next on the list, Maxine, you will head out back towards where kind of the post was outside around the outer perimeter, and it takes you a couple of the stations before you spot a familiar face. But yes, you do find Luca out in the distance there, a bit closer to the western side this time, not so much in the southern part, as he seems to be kind of walking counterclockwise, and you see him.
I'm just gonna go ahead and approach. Just when I'm within, 10 feet, just call out and say, "Luca, I was looking for you."
What is your stealth modifier?
That's a good question. It's +8.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Damn. Okay. Yeah. That was his reaction. Jesus fucking Christ. Turns around. It's like, don't do that. You're from earlier. Yeah. What is it?
Spoke with Banuk and Cedar, and Cedar thought that I might be of some use to help with your soldiers' marksmanship.
Oh.
I'm looking to help.
That might actually be a huge help, but we have a problem. We don't have a whole lot of ammunition to waste.
Well, we can look into that. But if nothing else, could also do with some general weapons handling, safety protocols, things like that.
Yeah,
Might be good for you people.
We might be able to. Yeah, we're a bit short-staffed, so it'd be a little difficult to get everyone together. But why don't you make the rounds with me? We'll go around, and maybe you can just do like a quick little, a quick something with each group at a time, and 2 or 3 at a time. Would that be okay?
I'm following your lead. Whatever you think is best for your people. You know them better than I do.
All right. Well, great. Luca kind of ushers you around the perimeter, and as you reach each of the stations, Luca introduces you to those that are there. Each station seems to have maybe 2 or 3 people on guard, and Luca basically we'll play through maybe like part of one, but basically Luca is going to have each of them show you kind of their movements to take aim and maybe fire off a couple of shots once letting the people nearby know that just a couple of practice rounds. And you go through what's going to be about 6 stations. In total, there's roughly like somewhere around 15 to 18 people or so in total around each station. And let me go ahead and do a quick little roll here. Overall, I wish I didn't tally them all up together, but overall, it's actually a very 50-50 kind of performance. You'd say that if you had to give it like an overall performance score, there's a clear separation of people who have handled a firearm, those who have not, and probably there's like 1 or 2 of them who might have an accidental discharge and shoot someone next to them. It's bad.
It's always embarrassing.
Yeah. So you will make your rounds with Luca, and then we'll come back to you and see how you kind of want to handle it. But overall, your initial analysis of their skill set is, of those that are skilled, or at least those that have some experience, they'll be all right. Those who are less skilled probably shouldn't be holding a firearm. But
all right,
Maxine, you'll go around and give everyone some pointers, and for that, I'm gonna probably have you roll a. It's gonna have to either be, I'm gonna probably do just either straight charisma, because I feel like it's gonna be either a combination of performance and persuasion to get these fuckers to listen. And I'm probably also going to have you give me an intelligence check, because it's going to be a mixture of maybe history and science to handle the firearms. So between the sub roles that I mentioned, do you have proficiency in any of them? Performance, persuasion, science, and history.
No and no.
Okay, so yeah, give me an intelligence check and a charisma check.
All right, my specialties.
Nice.
Oh that's my a natural 20
God.
On the intelligence. Maxine knows her shit.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yep, that's actually amazing, because your intelligence check, nat 20, Maxine absolutely knows her shit. Like, if a question comes up about a firearm, even if it's a firearm that you are not super experienced with, you know it, right?
Weapons is the 2 points in intelligence that I have.
Nice. That's all you need. And you're not the best at teaching, but you make do. Like, you're clearly knowledgeable. You actually will manage to get some of them to actually address you in almost like a respectful way, where they are like, oh, this is fascinating, or oh, I'm interested. So yeah, overall, a very positive experience. And Luca, the more of these stations that you two kind of go between, just seems to be in a better and better mood at how it seems to be going. With the exception of this one guy who accidentally like shot too close to your feet, and that was a moment. But yeah, very nice job. All right, next up we have Caden and actually, sorry, Dario, you were helping with Koji, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Caden, you make your way around to where you could have sworn you saw some folks working with materials and clothes and patchwork or washing, and you do find that there's a kind of like a water tank that is set up, and there are people kind of near the communal cooking area that is closer towards the center, but to the southwest of it there seems to be a kind of a dedicated area for working with textiles and doing cleaning work.
Okay. I'm gonna find someone who looks like I'll just find anyone and just ask them for the most damaged and dirty clothes they have, in like a hamper, and I'll just take them and I'll clean them and work on them.
Why would you want the dirtiest, damaged clothes we have? I mean, we'll fix it if you give it a day or two, but
because I'm good at it and I can fix it, and we're trying to help out Nurner Keep.
Reluctantly. Actually, what is your persuasion modifier?
Plus something. Plus 5.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Charisma sorcerer.
Yeah, true. Okay.
With proficiency in persuasion, so.
Yeah, no, you did fine. But she will give you this really beat up piece of clothing that seems to be almost like someone took a knife and just started making streak marks through it.
Yeah, I'll take that, and I'll try to find a secluded area to work where no one can, like behind a curtain or behind some crates, or not like too like chintzy, like oh he just went off behind in like the creepy alley, but somewhere I'm a little secluded to work.
Yeah, it was such
it was
such a messed up piece of clothing that as soon as they gave it to you, they looked a little confused, but you walk away and they continue doing their work. So yes, you will find a place relatively out of sight.
Okay, and then I will use these two and basically fully restore the thing. I don't know how long you think it will take, but
you sent that to me privately.
Oh shit, did I?
Yeah. I think what someone said, you can right click and make it revealed.
Oh yeah, I think I can do that. To reveal. There you go.
All right. This piece is so gashed up that it is probably, what is that? That's going to be 6, 12, 18.
Stab wounds is our not bad unless you're using a machete, in which case that's not really a stab wound at that point. But
no, it looks very torn up. It looks like shredded. It is.
Oh, well, I don't want that kind of damage, but sure, whatever.
You did say the most damaged fucked up piece of clothes they have.
I did.
But yeah, if I remember, mending is, oh, it's only 1 foot, not 5? Okay, never mind. So actually, if it's 1 foot, so 3.
I don't have to repair the entire thing in one go. I can use it a few times.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to calculate here, because it takes a minute, right? And then it's a 1 foot. I need to mention a mending.
Quicker than selling the shit, though.
I'm trying to think, right? It's because there's a few sections of it too, so it's going to take a little bit of finessing to get right where you want. So I'm going to say it's going to take you about 10-15 minutes. That seems pretty fair. Yeah, takes you 10-15 minutes, but
it comes out almost brand new.
Sure. I'm going to have you give me a D100 roll.
Sure. 100. I don't know those very often. 77.
77. All right, one moment. So, Caden, while you are spending about 10-15 minutes patching this thing together, what might Caden be daydreaming about?
Thinking back on meeting leader dude Banuk and what who he might be, or who as a person who he might be as well, not just his identity, but as a person, whether he is who I think he is or not.
Okay, gotcha. So I need you to.
Oh, yeah.
This one's a bit of a tricky one, but I need you to give. No, we're just gonna make it happen. So, as you are doing prestidigitation, as you are doing mending, and the shirt is kind of slowly in bits and pieces weaving itself back together, the grime is falling off. It seems to be kind of repairing without needing stitching. And
by the way, I should say the reason I found the corners, I'm trying not to get noticed doing this.
No, I got you. And you know what? Since you're bringing that up, go ahead and give me a stealth roll if you're trying not to be noticed, not just not seen. But as you're kind of doing this, and you're fairly practiced with it, you've had to take care of your own belongings for a while now, so you kind of do it without much thought. But about 10-15 minutes go by, and you look down thinking that it should be done, and the torn up outfit that you were mending you didn't receive it in the color that it currently is. Now it seems to be black.
Oh, okay.
And there seems to be, where the streaks were, they've mended themselves into red streaks on the shirt.
Oh, okay. Did they look like normal fabric still though, right? There's nothing weird about it? Like it's not made of like a weird material?
As far as you can tell, it appears to be still made out of fabric, but it's a bit stiffer than you remember. And when you go to kind of flip it around and touch it, you motion your hands above where the red marks, the red streaks are, and it feels it. You actually had to take your hand away because it felt hot for a brief moment.
I put my hand back on. Is it still hot?
You put your hand back on, and you feel the remnant warmth of heat.
Is it fading?
No, if anything, it's solidifying into this again kind of rigid black shirt with red streaks on it now. Where
is it noticeably hot, or just like just feels kind of warm?
At this point,
if I hand it back to him. Oh, sorry.
No, at this point, when you put your hand back on it, initially, when you quickly put your hand back on it, you did feel like it was warm to the touch, but as you continue to feel it, it seems to not be warm
anymore,
as far as you're concerned.
Okay, I'll just give it back to them. I'll bring it back to the lady who gave it to me.
Wait, are you the one that took the torn shirt? This isn't
Yeah,
the shirt.
After I washed out all the stains, this is what color it was.
How does a white shirt become black?
I don't know. What'd they get on it?
What do you mean, what did they get on it?
The man, maybe?
The man wearing this was torn apart by some creature with large claws. I mean, you did a fantastic job putting it together, but why did you make it look like this?
I just thought it looked nice.
Well, thank you. Kind of admiring what is this material? It's thicker than I remember too.
I don't know. That was just what I was given. It's the same shirt.
She's looking at you like a crazy person, but her eyes keep darting back, and it's like, well,
Cross my heart. It's the same shirt.
okay, I believe you, but do you want to help us with some more?
Sure. I'm curious what I'm gonna make next.
All right. You go ahead, and she hands you another pretty fucked up shirt. This one seems to not only have some kind of cut marks around where the torso would be, but there seems to be a couple holes in the center mass of the shirt as well.
Oh, okay. I'll do the same thing, but because it happened, I'm gonna try and I don't know if I can, but in his head, he's gonna try and direct the outcome. Like it changed last time. He's gonna try to pick a goal of like think about. I want it to be. He's gonna like pick a color, like blue this time, and when he does the spell, see if the shirt turns blue.
Okay. Go ahead and give me... Well, it is also going to take you about 10-15 minutes again.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
and give me a moment. Let's see here. So you do some work, and I have to find a better way for this menu, but that is on me. Okay. You take your time, and the shirt gets mended. However, once the shirt has been mended and cleaned, no, this one does not turn blue. However, for the next few seconds, you go to return the shirt, but as soon as you see the lady that you got the shirt from, you just don't approach her for like an awkward 10 seconds.
for a particular reason, or like, sorry, I'm just trying to understand what happened. Like,
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Sure. Oh, I think I know what happened. Oh, where's my wisdom button? Here it is.
All right. It's bizarre. You know you're done with the shirt. You know you need to return the shirt. But for some weird reason, approaching the lady almost feels like a child who knows he's going to get in trouble.
Okay.
And you just, for some reason, hesitate. But again, only for like a handful of seconds. And as soon as you kind of break eye contact, enough time has passed, and that was weird. But Caden, you are not entirely sure.
This shirt is relatively normal.
The shirt is completely normal. In fact, it looks like you would have expected it the first time around.
Okay, sounds good. I'll return the shirt, I guess, now.
All right. So, do you continue to help out? There's plenty of clothes.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. We'll
just back and forth.
Make a mass roll if you want anything to happen, but there's no point just all the individual rolls.
Yeah. It seems like as time goes on and you continue to do more, you continue to try to get the results that you did on the first one, but it just doesn't seem to be manifesting whatever the heck you were hoping for. So we'll continue to then Koji and Dario as the two of you kind of bolt off. Well, one of you bolts off, the other follows, to go approach the airship where people are slowly kind of working and loading up like a little attachment bed that goes onto one of these kind of bikes that they're using within the compound to kind of help trolley things over. And then there's also a couple pairs of groups that seem to be carrying out some large chunks of metal or equipment that looks to have been salvaged from some kind of a vessel. And some of these objects look like shuttle seating. Some of them look like painted sheet metal, or not sheet metal, but painted metal from the sides of a recently encountered shuttle, among other items.
All right, I'm gonna just go grab some. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, what the hell is? Grab something heavy and look at somebody and just go, yeah. Where are we taking this shit?
Give me an athletics check. All right. Yeah, Koji, you go up and you just lift up an object that like a size of a washing machine, and you just pick it up. And upon asking where this goes, a dude, holy shit, man! Over there with the rest of the junk, we're gonna be filtering through it. The mechanics are gonna salvage some parts, and then, yeah, dude, over there.
All right, cool. And he's just gonna go put it down and repeat the process.
Okay, Dario.
I go to help out as well too, picking up whatever I can.
Okay, I'm gonna have you also give me a athletics check.
Rolled 13.
Man, you guys are doing above average tonight. Not bad, not bad. All right, Dario, you will be able to pick up some objects, but not nearly to the extent that Koji seems to be.
Easy bake.
There's a few cases where somebody will kind of run over and help you out on the other side, especially if it's like a larger object. So some objects you'll take yourself, and other larger ones you'll get some help from, and Koji's just there being a one-man army lifting shit. But you guys will help out around the camp, and some time goes by. Is anyone else doing anything particular before you all get called by, or I guess rounded up?
Upon helping, I talk with one of the folks and just ask them, so how long or how often do you usually do these supply runs?
How often do we do the supply runs? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, does Banuk and the team usually do these every day? Yeah, how often do you guys usually get supplies back into the town?
Oh, no, not at all, man. We actually, we heard some loud noise the other, maybe it was a few nights ago now, but there was some smoke from the south, and Banuk and the others, they went and take a look, and next thing we know, we hear something on the radio about bringing back some new materials, and this is what we got, man. It's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I guess, do you guys plan on using a lot of these with the mechanics and hopefully be able to sell some of this stuff out? Do you know if there's any other towns that you guys have been able to find a trade with?
Oh, hell if I know. I'm generally just keeping watch at night. Sometimes if I'm lucky, I'll get to go out on little caravan ride with Banuk and the others, but for the most part, I don't know. I think just labor is kind of all I'm really good at, so we're not really... Well, this is what I'm good at. This is how I'm contributing out here, so it's hard to say. You might want to ask some of the others, but no, it's not a frequent thing at all.
Sure. Well, you're definitely a big help. I'm sure Banuk and the rest of the leadership really appreciates all the work that you do.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, I appreciate that.
And I go and proceed to continue to help to unload and load up stuff.
Before you continue, hey man, what's your name?
It's Dario. And how about yours?
Dario, huh? My name's Jackson.
Mississippi.
Well, Jackson, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
likewise.
having us.
You happen to know a feller named No, you don't look quite like him. You're not from Aurora Green, are you?
Unfortunately not as beautiful of the planet as it is. I'm from another planet called Sakara.
Sakara? Never heard of it.
Yeah, well, I do miss it back home, but came this way to hopefully find some information that I needed, and ended up with a few of my friends here to hopefully see if I can help you. We can help you.
Seems a bit odd to me. I don't know why anyone would come out here to help us, but hey, Jackson, get back to work. Oh, well, gotta go. He runs off.
If I make my way into the airship at all, can I take a look around just to like see what's in there?
Sure. Anything in particular you're looking for, or just kind of perception in the loading area?
Mostly looking for cushions, like a nice place to sleep.
Sure. Give me a perception roll. Yeah.
That is a 19.
So, within the loading area, you will actually spot a few things, which... I need you to roll a history with disadvantage. Koji doesn't really know jack all about military, does he?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not really sure. You've been on some like commercial flights, and you always remember like the stewardesses and such, or the whatever they're called. They have like these kind of flat seats up against that kind of fold, right? And the only thing that you really spot from like a cushion perspective, at least in the kind of loading area, which is quite large on its own, but around the outer edges, you do seem to spot that the airship itself does seem to have a bunch of these kind of what look like folding chairs that you've seen on more, again, personal flights that you've had. However, also kind of keeping an eye out for cushions, you spot that there are a good like dozen of these chairs that look like they were ripped out from an air shuttle, a transportation shuttle, and these also seem to have kind of cushion seats on them as well, which if you're just looking for cushion, maybe you could take one of those.
We talking like lazy boy, or are we talking like just standard chair?
We're talking about like business class flight chairs, but in pairs, so it's kind of in between business and first class if you've ever been in a plane. And if not, think of a bus, but a little bit more comfortable.
All right. Koji's just gonna. Is there somebody that's obviously in charge?
In here, no. Everyone seems to be just kind of working. You do hear kind of the mutterings of what sound to be more like orders rather than people asking for work to be done, coming from a ladder that seems to lead to another floor within the airship.
I'm sorry, yells coming from the ladder?
So you towards the back, there's a ladder, and up that ladder there seems to be kind of an opening, and from that area beyond, you do hear, it seems like someone kind of making call outs, not so much people working, so to speak.
All right. I'll climb the ladder and just kind of, hey, for lifting all this heavy shit, you mind if I take one of those like flight chairs down there?
When you get up the ladder and take a look around, you actually find many individuals that seem to be a bit more dressed in proper, almost like military gear. They seem to have more proper uniforms compared to everyone else that you've seen, with the exception of Banuk, Cedar, and maybe kind of bits and pieces on everybody and on some of the more soldier-like individuals. But these guys seem to be wearing kind of black clothes, and some of them have red markings on them. But someone close to the ladder, turns around. Oh, you want a cushion? Listen, whatever's going on down there, help yourself. As long as no one else objects, you should be fine.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Anyways,
All right.
you shouldn't be up here, so off you go.
Right. And he's gonna just slide down the ladder and.
Oh, did you do
Kinda
the cool
call-
one where you don't hold on and you just do that thing where you actually slide down?
Yeah,
Exactly what he
yeah,
did.
as good as I can. But yeah, just kind of calling it a day from there. Koji's gonna walk over and just casually pick up one of the chairs and make his way or to just somewhere
Okay.
preferably shady.
Sure. There's a few areas where the within the camp where they kind of have like a tarp set up or a piece of a large cloth or fabric that creates a bit of like an overhang or an overshade, patio shade or whatever you want to think of it as. But there's a few spots like that that you can easily find.
Yeah, just kind of plop a chair down and kick back, relax, take a nap.
And Maxine, as you kind of finish making the rounds, you first kind of go in this clockwise position, or sorry, counterclockwise in the same direction that Luca was originally walking in when you had caught up to him. And after getting close to, say, like the 4 o'clock mark, Luca actually just takes you through the town. You spot where Sam is kind of setting up, or at least loitering about in the southeastern part of the village, and Luca cuts over towards the western part of the encampment and begins to circle clockwise to the other locations where people are standing watch. As you make your way to the western side, you also spotted Caden, who was acting a little suspicious, hiding in a corner, but you didn't pay much mind to that. And towards as the day kind of progressed, Luca then, oh, holy shit, Maxine, that was incredibly helpful. Even I learned something. Thank you.
I had good training back in the day. And,
yeah, if only Banuk and some of his boys could have trained us instead. I mean, a lot of them have formal training, but a lot of them are also busy keeping an eye out on the skies and our surroundings to make sure that we're all safe here. And, well, and for whatever that thing decides to do as he gestures northwards at, just again, the energy storm, the catastrophe, seems to be all but nearly fizzled out, as you see slight distortion kind of crackling here and there, but otherwise it's fairly calm now in the north.
Well, they know what they're doing, so that, from what I can tell, at least. So,
well, we don't really have anyone else to rely on. So,
yeah. Well, if there's anything else you need while we're here, I know I'm not the preferred help, but I want to do what I can for my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get it a little bit more. Listen, I'm sorry about what Tina said and did earlier today. Some have been through more than the rest, and after your little one-on-one with most of the folks on watch, at least, I'll see what I can do about giving them a heads up so we don't have any surprises while you're staying with us. It's not much, but it's the least I can do.
It's appreciated. And if you might have anything else I can... I mean, I've got another change of clothes, but as far as armor goes, I'm got just the one, and that's about it. Even the armor itself stands out, so if you might have anything else laying around that I could throw on in the meantime, maybe keep the people a little bit less tense around me.
I'll think about it. If I
I know
maybe one of the
supplies
others.
are hard to come by, but
Yeah, we are a bit short on some perishable foods, but is that the right word? No. What am I looking for?
Non-perishable?
Non-perishable. Yes, yes. Non-perishables, but I'll ask around. Maybe I'll have some ideas for you and your friends later or tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be around.
All right. Before turning, well, he midway to turning, he turns back and puts out a hand for a handshake.
Go to meet it.
Yep. Gives you a nod, and he will go about his way.
All right. I'm gonna find someone I know. I know where Caden is, but he's being kind of weird. So maybe find one of the others.
Yeah, Maxine,
Yeah,
you probably.
I don't know what he's getting into, and I don't know if I want to know.
So Maxine, you probably spent a good couple of hours making your rounds, spending some time with each of these groups. Again, there's like 6 points that you had to make your rounds through, and some took a little longer than others. A couple of them were actually a bit briefer, as they seemed to have, had more basics. And the rest of you are free to decide kind of how long you worked within that time frame. But you're all at Say again?
I would do one thing. I just want to try and get that outfit, actually. I'll repair a bunch more outfits, and I will try to trade, like, that service. Like, can I have that shirt I repaired? The nice one, the black one with the red stripes? As, like, payment for my service for all the work. I'm going to see if I can trade with her for it. Because they're not going to repair, I don't know, 6 shirts that are almost unrecoverable at this point.
Yeah, okay. So give me an idea how much time you might have spent within the 2 hours. And if it takes about 10-15 minutes, we'll say that you can maybe do 4 an hour.
I'd probably do, like, all 8 then. I got nothing better to do, so.
Sure. Okay. So after some time goes by and you keep coming back and forth, and the lady seems to be kind of warming up to you, as initially weird as she thought you were.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable.
Yeah. You want the shirt. I mean...
Yes, it caught my eye after working on it. I like how it looks.
Oh, well, I don't see why not. You've actually helped us quite a bit. We weren't quite sure. We were sure that some of these would just have to be thrown out as rags or given to the mechanics to do as they would, or maybe even strip it down and try to retain some of the fabric. But I mean, thanks to you, we have 8 shirts that were beyond repair that are usable now. Just awestruck look on her face. So I don't think anyone would complain if a shirt that was meant for the trash is given to you as a thank you or an appreciation. So sure, just we'll keep it between us. I don't think anyone needs to.
I'll just take these rags off your hands.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. No, I really do appreciate it. It usually takes us quite a long time, and as time goes on, we slowly lose the number of hands that are able to do such great work, as she gestures to what you're holding now. But remind me, what does Caden wear normally?
Basically some like rundown, like not rundown, but not any of the fancy stuff you'd see in like a city. I don't wear like any like super futuristic kind of high tech materials.
Yeah, mechanic wise, it's just clothes, right?
Yeah, just pretty simple clothes,
okay.
And they're rugged, like probably like a heavy cotton or like a heavy fabric, not like a fancy silk or anything like that. Just a very heavy, rough clothing, but in good shape.
Sure. So go ahead and add a reinforced shirt to your inventory that weighs 0.5, and this will give you a +1 to non-limb attacks.
Perfect. Okay. Inventory.
So +1 to body hits, essentially. AC. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, and then I'll just go meet up with the group after.
Okay, Caden will get wandering about. Maxine, you'll be wandering about. Dario, how long would you say that you're going to be helping the group? And Koji, after maybe like an hour, I'm thinking is when you kind of step away with the chair.
Yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay, that's actually perfect. So yeah.
Yeah, about that time.
Okay, so you know what? We'll just say both of you guys did the full 2 hours of work, and Dario, towards the end of it, you see kind of Koji walk off and go sit in the shade with this chair. And Sam, what after you found the little plot, what did you end up deciding to do for the next couple of hours as others were working about?
Not much. I kind of want to just wait for everyone else to get back, and I kind of want to discuss something with the group once they're back.
Okay, so at this point, you guys are free to roam about.
0.5 pounds?
0.5, yeah.
If no one else is going to try it, I'm going to try and find some people. Not necessarily, I don't really have anyone in mind, but I'm going to try to talk up people and ask about the people with scars and see what they tell me. Not in a rude way, like trying to be like, oh, they got burned. I'm just trying to figure out, like, someone who's new to camp and asking about the people he's seen around with scars in a more curious way than a kind of a.
So you're asking people who don't have scars or do have
Correct.
scars?
I don't want to just go up to and be like, where'd you get your scars? I'm trying to see what the people's opinions are of the people with scars.
All right.
You want to know how I got these scars?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, you can approach a man or a woman. Your choice.
Woman, sure.
Okay. And how would you ask her?
Sorry, I was typing.
Can I
I have to
help
push talk.
you?
Yeah, we're new to camp, and I was just curious. I've been noticing people around the camp with scars. Did something happen? The burn marks.
Burn marks? I mean, sure, some of us have some marks. I mean, what of it?
It seemed like there was a story there, like one of the storms caught you guys or something. I'm new to this area, and I'm concerned about the storms.
I just moved in a few days ago.
Yeah.
Meet my neighbors.
Here, have this lemon square I made, neighbor.
I mean, I think everyone has heard Banuk's story, at least. It sounds like back when he was in a place called Eddington or something, he got caught up in a storm, and it did something to him, and he doesn't like talking about it, but I think Harvard had some acid burns or something that happened when he was out into the north, but I don't know. We're out here living like this. I feel like a few scars and burns and whatnot are pretty normal, aren't they?
Not like those, and not so. Usually, there's some people with burns, but there's a lot of people with burns here.
I mean, I got this, and she actually lifts up her shirt to kind of show part of the side of her belly, and from her belly button around to like her kidney, there's this massive, like, oval shaped, what looks to be a burn mark. I mean, I got this from when we were running from some bandits that, well, I was originally a prisoner, and this will probably never heal. She kind of rubs it in memory, but the bandits were the ones that I was captured with. They were animals, absolute animals. They would tie people up on the back of their bikes and drag them around the dirt for fun. But I don't know. It seems like everything just went to shit 10 years ago, and everyone has their story out here.
It seems that way. So is it a safe place here? Like, is there a lot of, I don't know, crime?
I mean, there's been cases in the past where someone got a little too friendly with another, or they decided to go out and take some equipment for a joyride, and, well, if someone got hurt, Banuk made sure that that was repaid. And if equipment was damaged or resources were misused, then Cedar and Banuk typically will do something about it. Before that, things were a bit sloppy, but ever since they've been here, we've, I think, been better.
It's glad to hear. I don't know how long we'll be sticking around, but I'm just trying to get a sense of the area, the place, who everyone is.
I can understand that. What about you? Do you have any stories of your own?
Many more than I have time to tell, but it seems like one of the better places on Ederson so far. I hope it proves to be true.
Well, I can't really say much about. Oh, that's right, Ederson. That's how it's said. Yeah, I believe Banuk came from around that area, and there have been people within this group that have decided to part ways, and Banuk would never really stop them, but the one thing he would always warn us is to don't enter a catastrophe and don't head north. Not really sure what he's seen up there, but if you've been around him enough, you know that there's something that just seems to haunt him in those eyes of his.
Well, I thank you for your time, and I wish you luck. If there's anything you need, let me know. I'll see if I can help you.
Yeah, of course. We do tend to have dinner together, or at least many of us choose to, near the. She points over where the central cooking area that you guys have seen here and there. Perhaps if you see me, I would love to hear one of your stories.
I look forward to it. I'll see if I can find you then.
Give you a smile and a nod, and would you like to talk to someone else?
No, that's all. I just wanted to get a brief idea of kind of what people thought of. That's all.
All right. Okay. Time goes by. A couple hours go by. You all help out here and there. Some of you are thanked. Some of you guys got something out of it, and you all eventually find one another. Now, we're gonna. I think the place that makes the most sense is where Koji is, chilling out in the shade. Sam, you go wandering looking for everybody. Maxine, Caden, you guys will do the same, and Dario's already kind of nearby. So let's say that seems appropriate. You guys will find Dario and Koji has a chair that he's kind of sitting back under the shade in.
Have you been sitting on your ass this entire day, Koji?
Nah.
I must say the locals are very nice, very accommodating for us.
I mean, it's a big surprise, given how Kaden said that some of these folks may not be too friendly.
We had reason to believe they might be differently aligned.
Definitely saw some weird corpo shit.
Corpo shit?
Yeah. I went up to see if I could take this chair, and a bunch of people in like suits and shit. Kind of similar to what that one guy was wearing, but like not quite.
And where was this?
In the airship.
What were they doing?
Yeah, they were just telling people what to do. Looked like a standard unload shit job.
What makes you think it was anything corporate?
I mean, they were wearing like I don't know, like suits and shit, like military gear.
Oh. I mean, if they were in the airship, I take it there's some sort of they're Banuk's guys, probably his sort of inner circle as far as soldiers go, that kind of thing. His specialists.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Luca mentioned that he's got some guys that are well trained, got some proper training under their belts. So,
what did they look like by chance?
What do you want me to get you, like a sketch of them? I don't fucking
Just
know.
a brief description.
They were, like I said, they were just wearing like military suits and shit.
Did you see any burn marks?
Think I'm looking for burn marks?
You should be.
I was up there for like 2 seconds, man. Come on. I literally flew there.
If they were fully suited up, probably wouldn't be much to see anyway.
It's true. I don't know if they were fully kitted though, but it's possible.
Kaden, what's the difference between some folks who have these marks who came from the catastrophe and some who are part of the Embers?
The burn marks started with the catastrophe, but that's not where they ended. They're called the Embers. They're the remnants of a gang from Edrison. But after the catastrophe, they took to burning their members as a rite of passage.
Remnants of a gang. They run the place, don't they?
Well, they do now. They're the remnants of a former gang.
Well, yeah, it's some sort of initiation thing, I think.
I've been thinking this catastrophe that happens here, and it pops away around, and these guys find the perimeter, and they try to run away from it, and we're here looking for the core.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys? I don't know if this is true or not, but do you guys think the core could be moving and shifting, and that's when no one could find it? And wherever it dumps to, then this catastrophe, this anomaly happens.
I don't know how long the thing we have been looking for, we're supposed to have a code word for it, and I forget what it is, has been moving around, or not moving around, been on the planet, but those catastrophes have been happening for 10 years-ish, 15. And the one that marked Edrison is significant because it was one of the first, if not the first. I'm not sure.
Well, it doesn't surprise you? Well, at least I don't think it surprises me that the most advanced city in this planet got hold of it, and then trouble arose.
Do you think they found the core at Edrison, is what you're saying?
I think they might have. And I don't think they knew how to control it.
I mean, have you seen other planets that have been changed like this? Because if not, then what makes this one special?
There's been other cores found before, and they have not done this. I motion to like the planet in general, like the air around me.
That's true. But every time we hear of a core, it's either a myth, or it's a legend, or it's someone who actually knows how to use it.
Your point?
So we don't know the stories of ones that could have happened to planets like these.
I'll be honest, I haven't traveled that much, but I've never heard of another planet like Aurora Green.
I've seen many planets, and there's no planet like Aurora Green.
But there's been other cores found before. Rarely, but it's happened.
I mean...
Why don't we just get Dirt Guy here to tell us where it is?
You mean me?
Yeah. You can, like, read the dirt and shit, can't you?
Well, I think you guys all assumed I could. But I don't think that's going to be very helpful.
I'm gonna reach down and check the dirt, and go, yeah, that seems about right. He doesn't know what he's doing. The earth tells me this.
At this
You can
point,
do
do you
it
think
too?
at this point, do you think we've exhausted all of our leads?
Not
At least within-
necessarily.
The problem is that they fully sent us here. We're a shotgun. We're full auto. They throw out as much as they can because something might hit the mark. Bad analogy. There's a lot of accuracy to this.
Right, and I agree. But if we are just to go roaming blindly, we're not gonna find this core. But these guys have been here for years, maybe longer. They've got to have seen something.
We could potentially ask them again. A lady mentioned that they generally tend to eat dinner together at night, or at least in a large group. And there might be some people there that could potentially know something or have information.
If we're gonna go prying for information, we want to be careful. We
Need to use the code word.
our meeting with Banuk, that was rough. I'm not a people person, but I mean, even I could see it. There was. I think we were beginning to overstay our welcome a little bit.
And I admit, my curiosities get the better of me in a conversation.
Regardless, they're right though. We need a direction. We can't just wander. Like, if we were to leave the camp, where would we go, Maxine?
Well, we know these guys want to get off this planet, and we know maybe they know the way to Edgerson. Maybe we could help them get off a trade.
But what do we don't have anything to trade right now.
They need a
We
ticket.
to find.
How much are
If you
tickets
can't-
off the rock, Caden?
Pardon?
How much are tickets off this rock?
For this many people, too expensive. There's what, 1,000 of them? 500? I don't know. I didn't count. It's not 10 people. It's not cheap, and it sounds like there'd be hurdles to just buying them a ticket. If that were the issue, I think more of them would be gone than are stuck here. That for some reason, Abs Corp doesn't want them to leave.
Well, why wouldn't they want him to leave?
Don't know. You'd have to ask them.
There's probably some profit to be found in a planet with a population, even if it's a wasteland. If
On
it's
the darker side
dust.
of things, those storms change things, and they might want changed things, whatever those may be.
it's a thought.
They're scientists, right? They want to see what happens, even if it costs other lives.
Potentially. More important, they're biochemists, bioengineers. They're very much on the fleshy side of stuff, more than the tech side.
Well, that's kind of a fucked up thought.
I mean,
My initial thought was the fact that the embers were the reason they can't get off, but I don't actually know. But I thought because of the association with the embers, they might not be able to leave.
Well, we know that Banuk has maybe a little first-hand experience with the catastrophe. I don't know how deep in the catastrophe he's been. Sounds like he just got out. But
If he
if
was
I'm
at Edgerson, he
curious,
was
I
damn
bet some of
close.
these AbCorp folks are curious as to what goes on in the catastrophe. I think just that knowledge is good enough to trade.
Sam, what prompted you to mention
I still
places
think
you didn't get into?
I still think that it's part of well, think of a storm. Think of a hurricane. you've got the outer parts of the hurricane are typically the most dangerous, and that's where people get to hurt the most. But right in the center, it's calm, peaceful.
Another thing to think is it's not an easy phenomenon to study. By its very nature, it changes anything that enters it. So when you send it in a probe, it's no longer a probe when it comes out. Or maybe it is, but everything's always changed after the storms. They're never the same.
And that's why I don't know. I mean, we know it changes organic life. We look at how people get hurt and shifted and mentally and physically hurt.
It changes more than organic things. It changes everything.
But what if it only changes people who leave? I don't know. There's too many variables.
There's no way to tell either.
It'd be real convenient if we had a couple of people that were already changed that could go in there.
You don't think they would change again?
I don't know.
It's an interesting thought, but good luck convincing them.
Do you think those bugs were people?
I mean, they could talk to me. So, like, maybe?
Oh, that's a scary thought.
There could have been people that became bugs, or there could have been bugs that became people.
I think she said something about...
Cut out?
Did he cut out, or was that just me?
Yeah, sorry. I think she said something about only being there for a little bit. Some shit like that.
Where for a little bit?
In the cave, I think. Only being around for a little bit, maybe. I don't fucking remember.
That doesn't tell us much, but it's a possibility. So what we have to decide what we need then. We need information in a direction to go when we leave here. Do we head to Edgerton? Do we try and figure out if there's a place nearby that might have this item we're looking for? We need a direction, guys.
I think our main mission here is just to find the core, right? So I think that's it. Unless anyone else disagrees, it's just if they've seen technology that they don't understand or someplace they can't get into. Otherwise, I don't know where else to go.
I think that's a good line of questioning for people. It got some interesting reactions, it seems like, but could just be he...
Let's head to dinner and we'll ask around and see if anyone's seen anything then. That seems like our best option.
Yeah. As far as the direction goes, we've got a task that inherently doesn't have a direction. So I think we just look for whatever leads. I think Sam's on the right track there.
Does anyone know any signs of what might be... Like, is there generally signs for when there's a core around? Like, some sort of sign, like, oh, tech doesn't work. People act funny. Anything like that?
They're not consistent, is the problem, I think, there.
Okay, well, we'll just ask questions and see what happens.
Powerful, strange things.
So the entire planet is
Terrible job.
Gotcha.
For all of you here, kind of having these conversations and thinking about the core, don't forget that to each their own. I think our technician in the group will have some basic knowledge of it. Maxine, through Dynasty, you might have some cursory knowledge of it. Caden, it's probably a bit news to you what a core might even be.
I know what it is. Don't know anything about it. Heard of it.
Koji, you may or may not know, right? But likely, even if you did, you probably just like, whatever. I'm never going to see one of those. Whatever. And then Dario, you're probably in a similar boat as Caden because of your homeworld. Didn't really have it wasn't really that kind of technology that was their focus, right? They had different priorities. So, but for those of you that do have a little bit of cursory knowledge of what a core even might be, our world comparison might be, it's like the Holy Grail. You're on a quest for this item that may or may not exist. The problem in this universe is with the expanded perspective of the stars, there's been a couple of them that have been on record of existing. So, yeah. But with that, You guys are planning to join, or at least some of you are planning to mingle during mealtime as the day does begin to wind down.
Before we head to mealtime, just one quick question to the group. So, do we steal their booze?
I think we'll want to do everything we can to stay on their good side. They're the first people we've come across, and they don't want to kill us.
I think, I don't know what you guys did today, but I think we've garnered enough goodwill that we might be able to swing something, but I would refrain from taking what is not ours.
Okay. Okay. Just put it out there, and I back up slowly from the group, and I reach into my right side pocket, and there's another flask.
I thought you were gonna take a bottle and slide it back onto like a crate or something, like you'd already taken it.
All right, you can have 2 flasks, but I'm not giving you a third. Goddammit.
Oh, that would have been a great trope the entire game. Like he just keeps putting flasks out.
Just keeps pulling it out. You know what? Actually, there's a way that can happen. So, yeah.
A bag of endless flasks.
Could get a pocket replicator that only does booze.
That's what his deliveries are.
Always gonna have an empty flask in case anyone asks you.
I just like the idea of the fact that like even if you take it later on, like at some point we're like, give me that flask, and then like 5 minutes later he pulls another flask out and starts drinking. We're like, where did you get that flask?
Yeah, Sam, if you haven't picked up what I meant by that, just ping me and let me know. All right. But before we head to dinner, I think that's about time for today.
Ooh.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. This is one of the few times where there's a lot of information being thrown out there. And I'm sure you guys want to keep talking about it and picking up more breadcrumbs, but we're going to keep to our typical 2-3 hour schedule of the episodes here. So
That goes quick, man.
it does fly by quick, especially when you guys are starting to get the gears turning. I heard it. So what'd you guys think of today?
It's good. It's fun. I'm having fun with the lore side of stuff and dumping out at least what I know when
I liked noticing things. That felt pretty good. I really liked my rolls on the training. I was so worried. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so bad. Like, I'm gonna come in here, like, I'm gonna teach you guys, and I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot.
That was a valid concern, but you pulled it off with a natural.
Out.
Oh, also
a lot better than I ever expected.
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna give this shirt to Maxine when we next game, or whatever.
Okay.
She needs some new clothing. Here, have this shirt. I'm gonna toss it at her.
I've got some people to hang out with, though. I think when we go to dinner, I'm gonna look for the cool kids. The cool kids being all the people with guns.
Nice. All right. So next time on Horizon Exploration.
Dragon Ball Z. Oh shit!
Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, next time on Horizon Exploration, the party is going to enjoy their time in the encampment while night falls and the people that they've met begin to gather for kind of communal mealtime before they all go to their rest for the night. And who knows what the next days or nights will hold for the group here as the party begins to find some information on what may have occurred once upon a time on Aurora Green, but also some signs of maybe where some technology or this elusive core may exist. So, hope you all enjoyed. And for those watching, following, and subscribing, appreciate you all. Hope you've been enjoying. Let us know what you think. But we're going to be closing out here. So, for all of you guys out there, till next time, take it easy.